This summer, I took a vacation to sub-Saharan Africa. It was a long journey, but it was worth it. I landed in Cape Town, South Africa. From there, I visited the Castle of Good Hope in the city center. This building is the oldest in South Africa. It was once a fort, but is now restored as a popular museum where I enjoyed a guided tour. Then I went to Camps Bay. This is a premier tourist destination in South Africa, but it is also popular among the South Africans. It is located on the Atlantic Ocean and has a wide variety of activities available, such as surfing and paddleboard lessons, which I did, as well as many restaurants and places to stay. Next, I took an aerial cable to take pictures of Table Mountain, which is a flat-top mountain overlooking Cape Town and one of the most popular tourist destinations. Lastly, I left the group in the evening and took a cab to see an amazing aquarium called Two Oceans Aquarium. Although I was tempted to take a dive in the tank of sharks, I decided to do a penguin encounter where I got to learn about and touch rockhopper penguins. What a fun start to my trip. The next stop on my trip was the Gallagher Transfrontier Park. The park is located within southern Kalahari Desert and lies between South Africa and Botswana and covers an area of approximately 15,000 square feet miles. The land consists of red sand dunes, sparse vegetation, occasional trees, and riverbeds that almost always run dry. I learned that this park is a wildlife preserve and conservation area in South Africa. I took a safari where I learned that the red dunes were herds of animals. I saw gemsbok, which are large desert antelope, meerkat, which are very quick almonovores, black maned lions, which are the king of the desert, sociable beavers, which are birds with very large communal nests, and pygmy falcons, which is the smallest falcon in Africa. The next stop on my journey in Africa was Toby National Park in Botswana. Here I took an African safari. On the safari I saw many elephants. The park is known for its spectacular elephant population, which is estimated to be more than 50,000. The Kalahari elephants that live here are the largest in size of all known elephant populations. I also saw wild dogs, which are like other dogs, but have 5 toes on their 4 feet. I also saw zebras and learned that because of their stripes, they can identify each other easily. On my next safari, I saw warthogs. Although warthogs appear atrocious, they're actually calm grazing animals. I also saw a cheetah, which is the world's fastest mammal. Lastly, I saw an alligator. These giants look fierce, but I learned that attacks on humans are quite actually rare. Victoria Falls is the next place that I stopped on my vacation. The Zambezi River is the longest east-flowing river in Africa. It begins in northwestern Zambia and flows 2,700 kilometers through 6 countries to the Indian Ocean. Victoria Falls is in Zimbabwe and one of the largest waterfalls in the world. It also has one of the greatest attractions in Africa. My favorite attraction was Devil's Pool, which is an area where you can hang over the side of the waterfall. I also enjoyed whitewater rafting. The course I took was grade level 5, which is the most wild and adventurous of them all. I also bungee jumped 111 meters off of the Victoria Falls Bridge. It was terrifying, but I had to do it since some said it was the best bungee jump in the world. After Victoria Falls, I headed north to see African rainforest ecosystem. I visited the Kibale Forest National Park in Uganda. The Kibale National Forest is one of the best safari destinations in Africa for chimpanzee trekking in Uganda. I attended a chimpanzee trek where I saw chimpanzees swinging from tree to tree, playing and feeding. I learned that chimpanzees' DNA was closest, sharing 98%. The park is also home to endangered animals, red Columbus monkey, the red-tailed monkey, the blue monkey, and 325 varieties of bird species. Other mammals live there, such as buffalo leopards and bush pig elephants. From after their Kabale National Park, I headed east into Kenya to visit Nairobi. It was quite an unusual place to visit, where I learned a lot about the wealth and poverty of this country. When I arrived in Nairobi City, I was amazed at the wealthy homes and millionaires in this area. A survey of wealthy found that the capital of Nairobi was home to $5,000 millionaires, placing fifth in Africa. After seeing the wealthy population in Nairobi, it was difficult seeing the opposite extreme. More than 4 million people in Nairobi, over 60% of the population, live in slums. Reports suggest that more than 5,000 children suffer from malnutrition from food shortage. Most parents cannot afford both food and education for their children. Finally, I headed east to Mogadishu, Somalia. I can't believe that I visited a place that is known for violence. Surprisingly, it was a beautiful coastal city with white beaches and amazing buildings. I visited pure white sands of Lebo Beach, the city's most popular stretch of coast. I went to the Baraka Market, which is an open market and the largest kind in Somalia. Although it used to be a place for people to sell daily essentials, it has turned into a place where weapons and documents are being sold. I quickly made my way out of Somalia, heading for West Timbuktu, Mali. I love seeing the priceless historical architecture in this area. First, I visited the Ding Juber Mosque, a famous learning center. The mosque was built in the year 1327. The mosque has massive and 2 minarets, 3 courts. I also visited the historic Sankey University, a huge learning center with over 25,000 students. That concludes my vacation and tour of sub-Africa from beginning in Cape Town to the end in Timbuktu. I will never forget my experience.